Okay, welcome to another edition of the Above the Bridge podcast. I'm your host, Thaddeus Part. I want to shout out our sponsors. At this moment, I want to shout out Defend Hawaii. They've been my first sponsor ever. They've been with me from when I first started. So thank you to Defend Hawaii. If you go to their website, defendhawaii.com, use promo code ATBPOD upon checkout, you'll receive 15% off your entire purchase. They have a bunch of new stuff that they just dropped for summer. They have a UH football drop. They have a store in Winter Mall also called No One. So go check them out. Next, we have IREP Detail Supply, and they're the one-stop shop superstore for anything you need to detail your truck, car, van, whatever, waxes, polishes. Go check them out. They have a store in Temple Valley Shopping Center. Also, if you go to irepdetailsupply.com, promo code ATBPOD upon checkout, you'll also receive 15% off your entire purchase order. Next, we have Hawaii Candy Factory, and you see their snacks everywhere. Lihimui gummies, the peach rings with the lemon peel. I always say that's my favorite, but you see them in the packages called Noms. Go check them out. HawaiiCandyFactory.com, promo code ATBPOD upon checkout, 10% off your entire purchase order. Last, we have our mushroom company. It's a Hawaii-based medicinal mushroom company. It's Med Mushroom High, medicinal mushroom Hawaii. Right now, they have 4 basic mushrooms that have medicinal properties. They have turkey tail, lion's mane, chaga, and red reishi. They extract it and put in these tinctures. I drip it under my tongue or put in my coffee in the morning. They have a bunch of medicinal properties. If you want to check them out, go to medmushroomhigh.com. It'll explain to you what each of these mushrooms do. The red reishi I take at bedtime. I've been sleeping like a champ since I've been taking it. Go check them out, medmushroomhigh.com. If you use promo code ATBPOD upon checkout, all capitals, you'll receive 45% off your first tincture of whatever mushroom you want. Aloha. Okay, this week, my guest, he owns Manawai Boxing. I follow him on social media and I love his videos and got a little inspired and reached out so I could have a conversation with him. Rylan Redona, what's up, man? Thank you for coming on.
How's it, brother Tad? How's it? Yeah, thank you. Thank you for taking the time for do this. You know what I mean?
Bruh, looking at your gym now, that brings back memories. That's roots right there. That's where the blood, sweat, and tears happen, huh?
Yeah, that's what it is, right here in the garage, man. We
That's
might not have
awesome.
the nicest facility or nicest gym, but it's where the magic happens.
Yo. Hey man, you can have the nicest stuff, but like it's the person in it is what makes the difference.
Definitely.
So let's start with it, man. How did you even create your gym? Well, let's go back like for your own personal career. You used to box amateurs and like growing up as a kid.
Yeah, I actually used to train with Uncle Derek, Derek Bright, Nanakuli kickboxing.
Oh yeah.
My uncle was also a Golden Gloves boxer out of Kalakau boxing. So I pretty much was around the martial arts ever since I was a young age, and at a young age, I fell in love with it. I fell in love with it all. Boxing, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, you name it. But over time, I really had developed passion for boxing.
And you got to compete at a young age also.
Mainly like smokers, like the Got
Oh yeah.
Skills events, yeah, at Philcom Center and stuff like that. So
Oh,
yeah, it was
that's
a lot of
awesome.
I honestly think I was a little too old when I started competing because I had my daughter already, and I
Oh,
was like finishing my bachelor's in college. So actually cutting weight for a fight and I ended up doing it, I ended up winning and I was like, okay, I got the trophy and the shirt and but to put in all that blood, sweat, and tears, for that, I mean, it was like a really big sacrifice, you know.
Yeah.
And I think I was just a little too old because I needed to take care of my daughter. And my mentality was, oh, if I get really hurt, then I cannot work. I cannot put food on the table, you know.
Yeah. That's exactly it, bro. Once you have kids, that changes the self goals to become family goals. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah. At least you did the walk, bro. That feeling will never go away. That feeling will never be duplicated.
Oh yeah, nothing like it, you know. Once that you go in the ring or the cage is no feeling like it, you know.
Yeah. So since you stopped competing, you kind of created your own space and started training kids, or how did that kind of come about?
Actually, after that, I was training throughout the whole time. You know, so I finished schooling, I got my bachelor's at UH West Oahu, and then I went on to get my master's in business administration as well. But my dream was always to run a business, you know. So I tried many, many different businesses and failed many, many times. You know, funny story, like going back to the times of UH and you know, Colt Brennan and when everything was going crazy. I don't know if you remember, but there was like the Thunder Sticks, you know, when they
Oh,
scored
yeah,
touchdowns.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
One of my first bright ideas was, hey, you know what? I'm gonna order like 1,000 Thunder Sticks and then just distribute them and sell them when everybody tailgating, you know? So that was the plan. And we were
What?
tailgating, and for like the first 15 minutes, I was doing that and I was selling like hotcakes. But then I started
Bruh.
hanging out. Then I started
That
seeing
was
my,
you. I remember that. We went to the the last game. I was at the last game when they won. I think it was Boise.
oh yeah, yeah. I don't know if it was that specific game that I was selling them, but one of those games I was though
Yeah.
inside the
That's the ones
parking
that
lot.
you blow them up and you slam
And
them
you blow them
together.
up and you
Yo,
tap them.
I remember that.
Yeah, so that was my first really business venture. But the funny thing is, it was going successful. But after 15 minutes, I wanted for party. You know
Oh
what I
yeah.
mean? So I stopped selling them and I just was cruising. Then after the game, I was left with like maybe 900 pairs of thundersticks. But with business, you know, the funny thing is each idea you have, each venture you have, each failure you experience,
Yeah.
you learn along the way. And that, well, that's the hope anyway. Then you can mold your next idea and the next step you take, you know. So yeah, shortly after that, I was trying to get into running my own businesses. I'll try, I'll fail, I'll go back work. When tax return come, I get my tax return. I would quit work. I would try another business. I would fail. You know what I mean? That's how it went for a while. And fortunately, maybe 2015 or 2014, I opened up a photo booth and videography company. So
Okay.
it's called Smile High Photo Booth, and you know we did a lot of different contracts. We grew to a point where we was doing like 25 events a month. You know, I had a whole
Oh.
team of photo booth employees, and it was going great. And that was the first time I really experienced success, you know, in the business sense, right? And then COVID happened, you know,
Oh.
so like peaking, and we're going really good. If you look on our Yelp, we're still a very high rated photo booth company.
And that's why you
But
bring the boot to the weddings and stuff, and people, oh, bro,
yeah,
those things are
weddings,
hot, huh?
graduation parties, birthday parties. Yeah, so we was busy, man. Like we was super busy. And when COVID happened, we lost like multiple contracts. And for me, there were some companies that hey, they keep the deposit because COVID was unforeseen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
With me, I returned all my deposits, like because I knew other people were struggling too, you know,
yeah.
but that's when I really was kind of at you know, my back was up against the wall and it was a choice like, am I gonna do something to go back to work or should I try another business? You know, and this is where the whole idea of Manawai began, you know, like because I was around boxing so much, we used to hit aqua bags, you know, water
Yeah,
filled
yeah. Yeah.
and early videos of Canelo hitting home and stuff like that, you know. So we had some and we would crank the bag, you know, and I was like, nah, I wonder if there's a market for Hawaii, you know. I wonder how that would look like. So little by little, I started doing feeler posts and we would sell on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist and stuff.
Oh, wow. This was during the
It's
pandemic.
during the pandemic.
Oh,
Then
yeah.
oh yeah, it was banging, and um, I was like, oh man, I gotta develop a company. You know, like I gotta develop a brand name, let everybody know I'm local.
Yeah.
So Manawai, the actual meaning of Manawai, you know, mana is power or strength, and vai is water. So
Yeah.
loose translated, it's the strength of water. You know, and my punching bags are filled with water. That's what Manawai means.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And I was cutting a lot of videos of us training. And fortunately, early on, the local influencers like Broke the Cloud, you know, shout out Broke the Cloud and Triple H, Hungry Hungry, because
Oh, yeah. I
without
had him
those,
on.
oh, yeah, you know, and
Yeah.
early on, they reposted a couple of our videos and it went super viral, you know, like really, really big.
Oh,
And
wow.
that's how the whole Manawai punching bag. My actual business name is Manawai Punching Bag. So
Oh,
Manawai Boxing is a branch of Manawai Punching Bag. Yeah.
oh,
Once
okay.
the punching bags took off, people started seeing me training my son. You know,
Oh.
like posting videos of my son training, and then they started asking, like, "Hey, you know, you train kids?" I was like, I don't know, you know, maybe." But yeah, you know, long story short, I decided to. My first student was actually Kaylee Shimizu. So I don't
Oh,
know if you know
that's
from
the
the
singer,
voice.
huh? The
Yeah,
singer.
the singer.
Yeah,
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 so yeah,
yeah.
Kaylee was my first student, and shout out to her dad, Tony, because he was very persistent in asking me because he inquired, and I was like, you know what, bro, I don't know, you know, COVID happening, get lockdowns,
Yeah.
but then the following week he would follow up, you know, and then again he would follow up. So finally, she came and she started. Her and my daughter was the first two students, and yeah, after that week, two more students came, then three more students, then 10 more students. And like next thing you know, it's like, oh man, I got a whole bunch of kids that I'm responsible for, you know, and going into something like this, like training and being a coach, I learned a lot about myself too. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
I had to figure out a system because it's hey, you can train one, two, three people, but if you're training 30 people at one time, uh, if you don't want a system, there's going to be a lot of kids just standing around. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yo, yo.
So it was a lot of trial and error. And, you know, I got a process down in order, like my main goal was to be able to transfer the skill that I learned over time with the work that I put in with practicing. I, it was to transfer it into another child, you know.
Yeah.
And my son is my byproduct. Like people see how he moves, how he boxes. So I took the time to teach him, and I was like, okay, if I can just do this with the other kids too, we'll see what happens, and let's see where this goes, you know. And if I'm being honest, in the beginning, it was a scary process because I knew that once I come on the scene, going to get other coaches and
Oh,
other
yeah.
teams like, hey, who's this guy? You know what I mean? Like,
Yo.
what Manawai? Like, what they about? You know? Um, and I think when you're doing that individually as a person, you know, like you're either changing your career or you're trying to pursue something that you have a goal, you gotta go through that building your
Yeah.
self-confidence and stuff like that, you know? So it's been a wonderful journey. Since we started 3.5 years ago, I've had many students come through our doors. You know, they come down, they train. My main mission was to provide the children with a safe space, and they can learn the skills of boxing, have fun, make new friends, and also learn, because boxing is much more than just boxing. I say it mimics life, really,
Yeah.
because you're gathering the courage even to show up, and once you show up, now you have to learn this new skill. And you got other people around you that look very, very good, so that could be overwhelming. But as an individual, you decide, right? Okay, I'm going to pursue this. Then you run into setbacks because it's like, damn, this is harder than I thought. It's not easy. And right there, you have the choice, right, of whether or not you're going to continue on or you're just going to give up, right?
Yeah.
And same as in life. But I try to teach the kids as much as possible.
Yeah.
Never give up. Never give up and always believe in yourself.
I understand, especially with martial arts, or I would assume boxing, it kind of it weeds out the kids or students that don't have in them, or it brings out the person that they didn't even know was in them. So those
Mm,
kind of sports are very, like I was telling you today, the truth always comes out with these kind of sports, because you
correct.
putting it on the line. You cannot fake something, because you can fake it for a while, but eventually it'll come out, especially when you gotta compete or you're in the ring. Like anything you thought or said or pretended or lied about is gonna show. So that was always it's a pure form of truth. That's what I always think. That's
Because
why
you can't,
I loved it. Yeah.
yeah, you can't fake hard work. That's why.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you can say you hard, you can say you're doing what you need to do, to get better, but in the ring, it'll reveal itself,
Yeah.
like it'll reveal whether or not this is for you the first time. You know what I mean? Like you can say you tough, you can say, oh, you punch hard, or um, you good at fighting like that. But the truth will be revealed once you get hit square in the face and you see the white flash and you hear the ringing in your ear. You know what I mean? Like, oh, so if you felt that before, you know how to be calm. You know
Yeah.
how to still logically make good decisions. But if you haven't, oh, then the truth will be revealed because you're going to start to
Yeah.
panic. You know what I mean? You're going to
Yeah.
start to get a little frantic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what I like about boxing. And I try to, when I don't force no kid to compete, because it takes a different type of mindset and all of that.
Yeah.
They know, like the kids, I try to run a very family oriented space. So the kids who are not competing, I'm a little bit more chill with them. They still get scoldings and all of that if they're messing around, but the ones who's competing, they understand because if you're competing, is for me is like you're approaching battle. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're approaching war, man. So you have to be prepared not only physically, but it's a lot more mental than people understand it to be. Yeah.
Yep, definitely. And yeah, that's funny you say that, the white flash and the ringing of the ears, right? So I was always taught you got to learn how to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And
Oh yeah.
that's the epitome of being uncomfortable.
Because
That's
we as
funny,
human
bro.
beings, yeah, we as human beings, we cling to comfort,
Yeah.
right? We want things to be easy, to be nice, to feel nice. But think about a fight. You're going into a situation that is threatening. Somebody's going to hit you hard, right? And when you expose yourself to that kind of situation, it is scary, right? So to train yourself for that, I describe being ready for boxing as you got to know how to be calm in chaos. You know what I mean? Because it's very chaotic in there. Like there's punches flying over your head. You're getting hit. You feel the contact. You hear the people in the crowd screaming. You see the lights. All of that. plays a role on you.
Yeah.
So before the kids go to battle, like compete, I make sure they display some sort of ability to stay calm. You know, especially
Yeah.
when they get flush. Like you see when they hit flush, and that's when they'll tell you, right? Okay, this boy
Yeah.
ready, or you
Yeah.
know,
An adrenaline
or
dump is
girl,
a
because
thing, bruh. Yeah.
I know what it is, man.
Yeah. That's funny. So you set up your gym at your house. Where are you located?
So we're located right in Eva, right off of Renton Road,
Oh, okay.
close to Eva Zippies, you
Oh,
know,
nice. Okay.
right across the Eva Elementary. I was going to get a facility like a warehouse and whatnot, but when I was looking, honestly, rent is like two, three, 4,000 a month. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? For the first 3 years of operating, remember I told you our slogan, fuel them on a shared them on, right?
Yep.
I didn't charge the kids for 3 years.
Oh,
Like
wow.
it was just a spot that they could come and learn, and
Oh,
it was more so my way of giving back to the community because I experienced coaches and gyms that I went to and learned where I didn't have to pay, every month and whatnot. So the only way I was able to do that was have it at my house, and if you see behind me, you see the lighter concrete towards the wall.
yeah.
Yeah. The kids were part of it. They dug, we extended out. The whole team dug, and it was a whole process of getting this whole garage ready, So if you do ever visit here, it looks and feels like a real gym. Like we put a bathroom outside,
Oh,
Um,
nice.
the concrete. There's like a lot of punching bags and everything you need really just to learn and develop your skills.
Oh, that's cool. Do you have multiple sessions or you have just one session and everybody come or?
Before I used to have like the younger kids, 6 to 11, earlier in the day, and then the teens in the afternoon. As of 2024, I reverted to having a monthly rate for the
Yeah.
kids. So the beginning of 2024, because a lot of people were like holiday season, different schedules, they're traveling, the classes were a bit smaller, with the new rate. But now I think I have to split it again because
Yeah.
it's starting to get very, very crowded again, you know.
I
So
think
generally we group classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 4:15 to 5:15. I do private lessons like one-on-ones Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday too.
oh wow.
Yeah.
So what is like your age group? Like do you go all the way up to adults or like
Yeah,
teenagers or
we have adult classes too. So my kids' classes as of right now is like 6, 7 years old, depending. I always if a younger child displays interest and just the ability to follow along because the group classes are big. I let
yeah.
them like I tell the parent, hey, let them try, but if after a while, maybe if they need a little bit more time, then they gotta wait till like 7 years old, yeah, to do the group classes. Yeah, and then nighttime, 5:45 to 6:45, we do the adult classes. So
Oh wow.
yeah, the adult classes is like from 18. I've had students like in their 40s and 50s. You know
Oh
what I mean?
nice. Hey, it's
Yeah.
a good workout, man, for sure.
Oh, yeah, good fun.
Yeah.
And that was a new thing for me, like uh, having people who are I'm not saying old, but older than me calling me coach. So I was like, hey, this is pretty cool. You know what I mean? Like it's good fun. And everyone knows we run a very tight family oriented place. Like whoever comes over here is super welcomed. So yeah.
Oh, that's super cool. I can tell that you're passionate about it. And with anything that people are passionate about, it usually has a lot of work behind it. So I think because you have those two aspects, like it's gonna be a successful thing. You're doing it out of your house, man. That's more than welcoming like strangers to your house. That's already showing you're meeting them halfway with trust. So that's always a good thing, you know what I mean?
Unfortunately, I got great neighbors,
Yeah.
because everybody on the street knows what I do, man. You come over here on a Tuesday, Thursday afternoon, you're gonna see a lot of kids, you know. Everybody on the street knows what I do, and
that
like I said, thankfully, unfortunately, everybody on the street supports me, you know.
that's cool. Do you have your students compete? Do they have opportunities to compete in I don't know, they have like golden gloves or juniors and that kind of stuff?
Yes, so I'm fully licensed with USA Boxing, and I do have a
Oh,
fight
nice.
team. So yeah, we do have kids competing in the USA Boxing circuit. Yeah, so I know a lot of the local boxing coaches, all the different gyms. You know, a lot of gyms do have our punching bags as well too. Um, but yeah, we just started competing last year, and it was a change because I was like really unsure if kids should even spar here. You know what
Oh
I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Because let's be honest, like, hey, sometimes you're going to get a bleedy nose, you're going to get a
Yeah.
bleedy eye, or whatever it may be. But this was communicated to all the parents who wanted their child to compete, you know, or who wanted to try. I explained that I'm very upfront, and yeah, thankfully, like we never ran into issues. All the parents are understanding. I had kids who got hit hard before, you know, everybody's all good with it. And I prepare my kids to the fullest extent possible. You know, we visit other gyms too and have them spar, because that's the only way
Oh,
to get it too, right? You can't
yeah.
just spar people in your own gym, you know. So it's a pretty cool thing to try and teach skills to kids and see their brains working, you know, and see them start to apply these techniques that they're being shown. Then they start to do it in real time, you know, and they might not be successful at first. Like you see them trying, but then it's still not being successful. Then you see them progressing, and it's like, oh shit, you land that counter. Oh, you are ready for that. You are aware. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So every time one of my, I said, you in the, sorry, that's my son.
All good, all good. I seen him in the
Every time,
videos.
yeah, every time one of my kids go to battle, it's like I'm also going to battle too, you know. So it's a very unique experience in that sense, being the
Oh
coach.
yeah. More
You know,
nervous for when your students fight than when you fought, right? Guaranteed.
oh, yeah, if I'm being honest, like,
Yeah.
because you can control what you yourself do. Like you know your own skill, you know what you possess, you know what you can do in certain situations. If
Yeah.
you're showing someone else what to do in this specific situation, it's like up to them. You
Yep.
know what I mean? So it's actually a super cool thing when it's like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, wow, they're able to overcome first their fear of
Yeah.
even uh deciding right to go in the ring, because
Yep.
that's the one. Then you see them sparring, you know, then you see them like, wow, that's pretty cool for me. You know, I'm in that unique spot where I get to see that progression now in kids.
That's
So I
super cool.
appreciate it.
I
Yeah.
think what you said earlier about you taking your kids to other gyms to spar, I think that's a necessity. We live on an island, and like iron sharpens iron. So if you fight sparring the same guys over and over, you can get used to them. And we would always have that kind of issue too, and would want to go outside our gym to spar. Plus, with you guys, I guess ring time would be important to get the kids used to being in the ring and cutting off distance and using the corners and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like
There's a
that's
big difference with bouncing on concrete, you know,
oh
and
yeah.
bouncing in the ring. because there's a little cushion, you know what I mean? There's a
Yeah.
little spring, right? So yeah, the kids got to feel all of that. And that's one of the biggest reasons why we go to the other gyms, to let them actually feel the ropes, feel the ring, feel the corner. Because you can
Yeah.
drill corner drills like in an open space, or and say, oh yeah, this is the corner, this is the corner. But for them to actually be pressed up against the corner and see the shots coming, that's two different things. Huh?
Oh
Like
yeah.
I always
Yeah.
say, you can look good on the mitts, you can look good on the bag, you can look good when you shadow boxing, but when somebody's standing in front of you and throwing heat at you, it's a totally different thing, bro.
Bro, you
You
giving
know?
me the kind, bro, deja vus. I heard this all before when I was young. The same spiel, bro, the same stuff.
I grew up
Yeah.
in that environment. That's why, like I lived it. And it's funny because so the kids know me as Coach Rylan and whatnot, but I'm one that I do spar with my kids. Like I do move around with them. Obviously, I'm not going to connect super hard, or when other gyms come, I spar with people, then they're like, oh, coach, you can move that? And then I'm like, oh, what, you think I want to learn this on YouTube or something? You know, like Ty say no, brother Ty say no, and Jesse no. Like our training session when we were younger was a whole bunch of guys getting together
Oh yeah.
and you know what I mean? Like, hey, everybody just go spar, skip the hitting mitts, skip the footwork drills. We just sparring round robin tonight.
Yep. You go like
That,
19 rounds and you didn't even
yeah,
know.
you know.
Yeah.
But those are some of the funnest times too,
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
shit.
Half
Then
the
you learn
time you didn't even have mouthpiece or hand wraps or
about, funny you mentioned hand wraps because in UFC boxing, the commission has to sign off on the wraps before they give the gloves. All this time I was training, I never really did wrap my hands. Even with the cloth wraps, I never really did wrap my hands. So I had to learn that.
Oh
I had to
wow.
learn like
The
taping on
gauze
and
and all that. Yeah.
stuff like that. So the first time I did them in a fight was for my son, and I was nervous that the commission wasn't going to sign off on them. You know,
Do them again.
good. Thank God they did, bro.
Yeah.
That's why it's such a learning process becoming a coach because even in order to transfer the skill into a child, you yourself have to be an expert at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because in order to explain something, you need to know how to deconstruct it forward and back, and
Yeah.
to communicate in a way that a younger mind understands.
Yeah.
Because then the transfer of skill will not take place.
Nope.
You know,
And
so
it you
yeah, go
if
ahead.
you lead by example, so it's hard for someone to come in and teach something they never did before. Like my daughter, she plays volleyball. I
Mm,
wish I could coach her and be part of the coaching system and help, but I've never played volleyball. I have
mm,
ideas and theories, but I've never done it. So I'm never gonna try because I'd be hypocritical because I think if I was to teach something that I never did, then I don't think I'd be that good, or I would always be questioned. And you know how people say like, "Oh, you can't do teach." It's like if you cannot do, how are you going to teach them? You know what I mean? I never understood that. So
mm,
I always thought if you lead by example or by experience, then that'll always be beneficial to whoever you're teaching. And because you've did it and you took the walk and you've been in the training and train how you're supposed to, then you can ask that of your students because you did
mm.
it. That's the best way
Yeah.
to teach, I think.
I don't know if you heard that last one. I said I would never ask them to do something I never did.
Oh
You
yeah.
know,
Yep. Exactly.
even if it's as simple as practicing a jab 100 times and making sure your hand is real tight, making sure your hand no go like this as you punch, making sure when you return, it goes straight back on the same path. You gotta like try to perfect it. You know what I mean? I know right away if you've been working at that or not, but
Yeah.
I practiced it. That's why.
Yep.
You know,
Chin
it's because
down. Yep. All
yeah,
that.
I
Right.
did
You
it.
bringing back some memories because just hearing you talk.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, so hey, because you was part of it, and for me, I was like, bah, I don't know how the parents is gonna receive my coaching style. I don't know how other teams or coaches is gonna receive my coaching style because what I knew is I trained my son. That
Yeah.
was who I was training before all of this. But what I did know is I know how to teach people well because the skill was transferred over into my son and my daughter too. And it was
Yeah.
apparent because people was asking me like, oh, and he was real young, but like when we first started, my son was maybe 6 or 7, and I make them do extensive fundamentals like footwork and balance and drills designed to um, establish the skill into them. Because if a child, for me, boxing is like dancing, and if you cannot dance, you cannot move forward, back, left, right with balance and correct technique. How are you gonna punch? You can be the hardest puncher in the room, but if you cannot move into position to punch, you're gonna be hitting air when you increase, yeah, like you compete with people who starts to be higher in skill because they're gonna be ready for that. That's why, you know.
Yeah.
So I approach every child the same way. First, I establish footwork, balance, all the fundamentals, punch technique, punching slow, stance, all of that. Like kids come in here and they think, like do the Mayweather drills, the 27 hit combos, pop, 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 pop. Like, boxing is not even about that in the
Yeah.
beginning. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
basics and fundamentals.
One, two, one, two.
Oh,
Yeah. All
a
day.
one and a crispy one too going to take you far in one fight, bro. Like
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
a clean one and a 1-2 will take you far, bro.
That's
You
true.
don't need to be fancy, man.
So you have any
Yeah.
assistant coaches and people that help you out training these kids since you have so many?
Actually, no, I'm the only coach.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm the only. Yeah, and I don't know, like soon because we planning to go Milan, yeah, and compete. Maybe
Oh
soon
nice.
I'm gonna have someone because, hey, let's be honest, like keeping 4 or 5 kids' hands at the event and cornering all at the same time, that's all not easy too. That's all
Yeah.
stuff I had to learn, and we show up at events and my kids is warming up the kids, like the kids is gonna fight and all my kids, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I feel like that too is I'm proud of that because the kids they stepped out of their comfort zone and
Yeah.
we're one unit when we go to events. So everybody knows, they kind of know like who we are now because we go almost to every local event,
Yeah.
and I'm super appreciative of the other teams. They are helpful. The coaches do support iron sharpens iron. Like they don't have a problem with the kids coming and sparring and helping in that sense too. Yeah. So yeah, it's been a learning
That's good.
process and I'm just super proud of the kids.
So how has boxing evolved in your opinion from when you were doing it when you were younger to what it is now?
Mm. I think more so the the fanciness and the showing off of it all because of social media.
Yeah.
Oh, let me get this clip. I like posting a clip of me hitting mitts,
Yeah.
and that showiness aspect of it all, sometimes it causes a child to skip the work.
Yeah.
They want to do
The
the
flashy
more
shit.
complex combinations and movements when they don't understand when to do it. They don't understand in what situation do you use this. Yeah, you can hit, parry, slip, roll. Like you can do all of that on one mid man, but when do you do it when someone is standing right in front of you?
Yeah.
Then that's where they run into problems because the fundamentals is not established. Yeah, like
Yeah.
they're punching fast. It looks fast, but technique is also not there. So power and transfer of weight distribution or energy transfer is not there. You can see it, yeah. So in that way, it has really changed. How else? I guess so. The new thing for me is just teaching, like, being in that coaching role, and you're not just teaching boxing, you're also being a mentor too.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what I appreciate the most, because my goal for my kids is, hey, you might be a professional boxer one day, great. But at the same time, I want to instill you with the skills and the knowledge and really the self-confidence to understand, hey, I can overcome anything. You know, I can trust myself and believe in myself to be able to do anything, right? And that type of mindset is even difficult for some adults to
Yep.
obtain, to have. But I think it starts with, learning and practicing those skills yourself, and overcoming challenges. The more challenges you overcome, the more confident you get. The
Yeah.
more pressure you're exposed to and you experience, and you come out the other side like, hey, that wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
It was tough, it was difficult, but I did it.
Yep.
So that's what I try to instill in the kids.
I like that. And I know for a fact that with that kind of sport, the overcoming fear definitely shapes kids in a different way. Like you can play
Mm.
basketball, you're never gonna have that feeling when you're going to a game, like you might get knocked the fuck out. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it,
yeah.
it's a different kind of fear to overcome. And then when you overcome it, even if you do get knocked out and you still face that fear and came, like you said, come out the other end, and you'll always be a better person for it, regardless if you win, lose. I think because you overcome fear, you already leveled your life up.
Mm.
I am a huge fan of your Instagram page. Your content is very strong in the messages that you're trying to kind of put out there.
Mm.
I saw a few clips that really hit home. The one you talked about where you want to bring out like how kids are acting violent and stuff like that, and how you trying to mold the kids a certain way. I think with being a coach, the responsibility of being a life coach is a lot larger, like you said, than them just picking up gloves and punching on bag, or even being a world champ. Like you can be world champ, but how are you gonna handle your family? Because that's what's gonna matter. You know what I mean? That's the stuff that matters, and that is a strong presence in what you're trying to show, and that's what gravitated me to your page, and what got me to try and touch base with you.
Mm. No, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. If you look at our entire page, like there's a lot of early content that it went super viral, like because I went through my own journey of darkness. You know what I mean? I was a high school athlete, basketball, college, I played basketball, I fought in the ring, but I arrived at a place right during when I was running the photo booth business. I arrived at a place where I was the most unhealthiest in my life. I don't know if you saw those videos, but
Yes, I
uh,
did. Yeah.
yeah, heaviest I ever was like 320 pounds, and it was a very tough time for me. But what I wanted to showcase in certain um, videos and certain media was just giving people hope. You know what I mean? Like, hey, what if? Because I was already at the point of accepting, and that's what's scary.
Oh,
You in the darkness, you in your very, very low state, and you think every day is going to be the same. You wake up every day and it's like, oh man, it's just another bad day that I can't do nothing about, you know. But what caused me to change first, because I feel like if someone needs change, some people can do it more easier than others. You know,
Yes.
some people need like big catalysts, you know, like some big events. Sometimes there's a death in the family that you didn't expect, or sometimes it's a loss of a job, or whatever it may be. Um, for me, I had a family member, you know, very healthy, young man, just graduated from high school, getting ready to go to the military, you know, training right after high school. One day experienced a headache and he went into the doctors. They found out he had a brain tumor, you know,
Oh,
and it was cancerous, you know, and in a matter of, I would say, like 3 to 4 months, I saw a young, healthy man go from prospering and really strong, really healthy to just really, you know, just at the end anyway, he lost a lot of weight. It was to that point where he was already at a hospice,
oh,
you know,
wow.
and it was terminal, put it that way, you know, and we would visit this family member in hospice, and he had just the most positive attitude, like, oh, hey Kuya, how you doing? How's the kids? How's auntie doing? You know, always so smiling, always so like just greeted me with such positivity, you know, even though he was in the situation he's in. And mind you, this kid is what, 18 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like we lost him, you know, and it was a tough time. And his mom asked me to video the service. Yeah, sorry if
Mhm.
I'm gonna get emotional. Yeah.
Oh, all
Uh,
good, bro. I feel you.
this was the catalyst because I was filming her in the middle as she's going up, and this is her baby. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And she she loses it like any mother would because
Yeah.
it's so expected, you know. And as I'm watching this in my lens, I'm like, what the hell? You know, like, what the hell is my excuse? Like, look at this young man who's uh pretty much his cards were dealt for him, you
Yeah.
know, and in his last days, he was positive. He was like filled with life, filled with joy. Who am I to be accepting of my situation and just give up? You know, just I'm gonna be unhealthy the rest of my life. This is how I'm gonna live, and this is how I'm gonna die. You know, and then it really hit me like, hey man, I have no excuse because I have the option to change the way I eat. I have
Yeah.
the option to go outside and train more. I have the option to shut down my business if I wanted to, if it's too stressful for me, you
Yeah.
know, just so I can change my life. I have that option. He did not, you know, he did not have the option. He was left on his bed during hospice time, and he couldn't make that decision to just change the way he eat or whatever it may be, you know.
Yeah.
Um, Shortly after that is when the real change took place. And one of my biggest fears is freaking doctors. You know, so I'll say it today. Hey, all you local brothers out there that's scared of doctors, I the same way. Okay? I
Yep.
want
Me
freaking
too.
envy. Like, bruh, I'm so scared of going to the doctor. I'd rather go in the ring and get punched in my face. Like, that's how bad it is. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
very bad. Like the kind I get high blood pressure. I get like they think I have tachycardia, you know, because my heart rate can be 60s resting, which is
Yeah.
very good. I go to the doctor, it's like
You
120.
stressed out.
Oh, like you fucking stressing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, luckily I have a good support system, and um, I told my wife, I'm like, hey, man, you know what? Uh, you gotta come to the doctor with me. You gotta come with me. And she did, man. Like in the first couple of appointments, she held my hand if I needed to hold her hand. And because really, really, I told myself, hey, I'm afraid of the doctor, right? But I'm gonna end up at the doctor anyway if I have a heart attack or a stroke, right? So
Exactly. Yep.
yeah, so it's like I can go to doctor anyway, despite my fear. So I might as well face my fear and find
Yep.
out uh, all the information that I possibly don't want to hear. That's what you're
Yep.
afraid of. That's like you're
Exactly.
afraid of the doctor telling you, like, hey, bro, you know. But when I went, I took all my blood labs, I did everything. It wasn't like the best information. Obviously, I was unhealthy. My blood work had a lot of work to do. My cholesterol, everything, was all over the place. But systematically, I made changes in my life, like big, big changes. Um, and shortly after that, I did I started losing weight. My blood work. Now, thank God, like my local brothers out there, your triglycerides, your cholesterol, your
Yep.
A1C, all of that is very
Yep.
important. You can look like one champ, you can look like the healthiest brother, but your blood don't lie, bro.
Yep.
Your blood don't lie. So I highly encourage who's ever listening to this, if they're scared of doctors, don't be, because I'm one of the biggest pansies when it comes to it. And nowadays, it's like the nurses even laugh at me because still till today, I go in, my blood pressure is elevated. Like they all know who I am. Like, how the hell is this kind of good sized big dude, and you scared of that? You know, I
Yep.
cannot control that though. It's a fear that I'm trying to learn to process and control. But the doctor told me one important thing is like, at least I'm a patient that shows up,
Yep.
because there's people who don't show up, and that's
Yep.
when you run into problems.
I agree. And like you said, like local brothers out there, afraid of the doctors, you should be more afraid of your kids not having their father, because that's
Exactly.
what matters. And I'm the same, bro. I go in there, I feel like I'm putting my nuts on the crap table. Like, what's gonna happen this time? Like, but yeah, I think you
Stress,
build it
rush.
up in your head more than what it is. But you gotta do it. Like, I had
Yeah.
colonoscopy done,
Yeah.
and like just the thought of that was, I'm never gonna do that. And
Yeah.
my dad told me, you know what, if you don't do it and something is there and you don't know, and your daughter don't have you anymore because you chose to,
Yeah.
you thought you was too cool for get that done, then you not being a good dad. And I was like, all right, stick the
Hey, bro, you
camera up
never
my ass.
you never think to be healthy, bro. Put it
Yeah.
that way. Whatever
Yeah.
you gotta do to be healthy, go ahead and do it, man.
Yeah.
And that's what began the change of myself. And in this whole process of discovering myself, discovering how to forgive myself, discovering how to love myself again, to even understand that, hey, I'm worthy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm worthy of my family, because people go through these problems
Yes.
and it becomes very hard. So all my media in the beginning, some people used to ask me, "Oh, you're not ashamed?" Like, because I get one whole B-roll, I get one whole folder of old me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and get some pretty incriminating photos. And I shared it because I know, like, I felt alone in
Yeah.
in those times. But really, really, there are a lot of people out there that are experiencing similar situations where they feel stuck. They feel like they're drowning. They feel like they're suffocating. You know what I mean? So I wanted to show them, like, give them hope. Like, hey, if you do decide, just put one foot in front of the other and keep on going and keep on going. Don't give up on yourself. It's possible, but it's
Yeah.
possible to come. Yeah. And that was how our whole social media began to grow. Yeah? And I wanted to start training kids, like I was like, frick, I gotta give back to the community somehow. I gotta do this. But my wife, she was like, you gotta take care of yourself first. You gotta be happy, you gotta be at peace with
Yeah.
yourself, or you can do that. And that was probably one of the best things that I was patient with. I had to work on myself because if I hadn't, I wouldn't be able to take the load that I do have now.
Oh
The
yeah.
responsibility of being a teacher, a mentor, let alone the physicality of holding mitts for 30
Oh yeah.
kids. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
That's a
Like,
workout, bro. Yeah.
that's my workout, man. So it's fun for me. I get to move around with the kids. I get to hold for them, and at the same time, I'm doing something positive for myself too.
Yeah.
I'm moving, and that's what life is. Is hey, you gotta move, man. You gotta
Yeah.
keep on moving. You gotta keep on moving forward.
Sounds like you have a smart wife to put you on that path, and sounds like you have someone that has your back, and bro, that's priceless for
Oh man,
sure.
I'm blessed. Yeah, thank God for that. And yeah, I'm super blessed.
Yeah. Bro, a couple other videos I seen on your page that hit home was the one you're training your son, and he was tiny and he's punching a miss, and you say keep your hand up and you poke him in the head, and and he's like, I don't want to do that. And and then you see him in the ring. And I was like, oh, brah, I don't know. I was watching that at work, and I was just like, that that kind of hit. I just to see the transformation, and you had it
Mm.
all video documented. I thought that was kind of cool, and those things your kids are gonna remember. He's gonna remember. He'll be older and see the video and just be like, "Yup." And then you probably get more, and the next one when he wins a national tournament or something like that. And, bro,
Mm.
I as a parent, that I thought that was amazing. That was super cool.
No, thank you for that. And
Yeah,
yeah, I was fortunate enough to catch key memories because he been training since he was in diapers, and it was more so because we was always doing it, and he was always around people training. And I think that's one important thing I learned too is kids, they rarely want to do what you tell them to do, right? But they do what they see. You know what I'm saying? So if
makes sense.
you want your kid to do a certain activity, the more they see you doing it, the more they, especially when they're really, really young, yeah. And it's not about being the best boxer or establishing all the fundamentals yet. It's like I just made it fun for him. Like,
Yeah,
oh, I bet you cannot punch this much time. Oh, yeah, straight. Or so I used to do that when he was younger. And then as he progressed, when he started to understand prompts or instructions, I'll teach him, then he's applying it. But then when he doesn't apply it, hey, if you make a mistake enough times, you should feel consequence, right? That's the
yeah,
only way is to establish learning. So I would tackle him, I would poke him a little bit. As he got older, I would hit him a bit harder and a bit harder and a bit harder to the point of like he's so experienced with getting hit and in certain situations, like then he can start to react because
yeah,
you need to be calm in order
yeah,
to see all those shots, right?
yeah,
You need to be calm. If you're worried about the shot, if you're worried about getting hit, you're preoccupied about what your opponent is doing
yeah.
versus what you really should be focusing on is which when the shot is coming, how should I slip? How should I counter? How should I do this? So yeah, I try to do that for all the kids like who train here. I do have many before and after videos, and it's sprinkled through the our media. But
Yeah.
I get pick off of that, man. Like I'm like, oh, look how old she was when she started.
Yo,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
And hey, I believe parents appreciate that too, like you said, because it's
definitely.
it's priceless because it shows one that it shows their kids' hard work. It shows that if you put your mind to something and you work at it constantly and you show up and you're consistent and you don't give up, hey, the only route is progress.
Yep.
Saying that's all it is, bro.
I like your mindset. The last video I wanted to talk about, and I'm just bringing this up because it all these videos impacted me when just watching it, but that one you posted about the naysayers, and then you started posting all the negative comments people made. That for me struck a nerve because that happens to me all the time. And before I'd get worked up, like, what you said, where you stay, like,
Yeah,
bruh,
yeah.
say it to my face, you know, kind of. And then it's like, why am I getting worked up from an idiot that's probably in his grandma's basement with his Cheeto fingers talking shit that would never say it to my face, would never say it to your face, but it's affecting me in a way where I'm getting riled up, and that's what they want. But I saw you post that, and your message that you wrote underneath that video was very powerful, and I thought that's the mentality most people need dealing with trolls. And the internet is a crazy place, and there's just people that just push negativity. And how are you gonna hate on somebody trying for change one kid's life and doing good things? Like, bruh, those are people that you should be pushing and lifting up. And how you handled it, I had a lot of respect for. I thought that that was cool how you put it out there and showed like, I can take this in, and it's like ducks on water, water on one duck's back. I thought
Yeah.
that was a cool video, bro.
No, I appreciate that, and that came with time, that came with learning. If you see our social media is pretty big, like
Yeah,
we have a big following and um even this goes back to the question you asked earlier, how has boxing changed, over time with the whole social media aspect, especially in the younger generation. Um, they're so affected by social media in itself when people talk crap online and
yeah,
uh, they get discouraged, they get angry, they get triggered, whatever you want to call it. So whenever I talk to a student of mine, or even anyone for that matter, they're talking about 1 to 10 people talking crap about them. Then I show them on video that has 6 million hits on them with thousands of people talking shit about me. You know?
yeah,
So the weight in that is so different. Like it's so extreme, and
yeah,
it took a while, honestly, to be able to like, eh, you know what? F all you guys, F
yeah,
all them. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? The first couple experiences I had, obviously I'm human. Like, what you said? I show
yeah,
up, you know what?
yeah.
I
Come over here. It's my address.
yeah,
Yeah.
come over here, come couple rounds. And people like they know, they know like, hey, this guy would tear you up, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
And they talk about me. But I progressed into a mindset that like if my intention was positive to show a certain message in a video, I told myself, hey, F all of them, bro. F all the haters. I don't give a shit what you say about me, what
Yeah,
you feel about me, because my intention is to help these kids. And none of you guys going to stop me. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Because the the other option would be to get like self-conscious, right? To get like, oh shit, maybe I am that way, maybe I
yeah,
am this. And then self-doubt creeps in. But then now it would stop me from making media. You know what I mean? Then it stops the potential possibility of helping someone else who could have watched this certain video.
yeah,
So finally um I developed that mindset over time, like, hey, bro, nobody gonna stop me from helping these kids, nobody. I don't care what you say. And if I'm being honest, get some funny comments, bro. Because like I
yeah,
swear I got 50 comments like, oh, BJ Penn looking kind of healthy. Oh, BJ Penn will put a couple pounds out. So
yeah.
something's like funny, and I don't really interact anymore with haters
Yeah,
like, but I learned that it's great interaction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're commenting on my posts, so
Yo, it's putting more what is that? The algorithm makes it,
algorithm.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I
So
think
they're actually
I
very
always say that if you got haters, that means you're doing something right.
yeah, and I learned that, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
going from 10 to 15 haters to like, oh, it was a lot if I'm being honest, you know, I'm like, holy fuck, you know, like these fucking like, oh, but it was like, you know what, again, my goal is to help these kids. Even if I change one life, it's all worth it. You know
Yep.
what I mean? So all of this is just noise. You know,
Yep.
like this could just be one freaking guy at home, not doing nothing with his life, you know, and
Yep.
he's like, I notice anybody who knows the grind, anybody who went through that hard work, anybody that trying to make a difference, they never gonna come at you like that. You
Yep.
know what I mean? It's only the people who dream and wish to do
Yep.
something, or they're like unhappy with themselves or whatever it may be.
Yep.
That's why social media is such a crazy thing. And I think it's important for the younger generation to understand that because sometimes they get too consumed by it. Yeah, and too
Yeah.
affected by it. Yeah.
Yep.
So
The main difference is, bro, they're watching you, you're not watching them. Yep.
exactly, you know, and I carried that mindset from then on. It was like every video I've ever did, if it creates positivity, great. If it creates negativity and haters, great too.
Yep.
I don't even care, bro. You know?
You still watching, you a fan, you a
Yeah,
fan.
yeah, exactly. So people ask too how to grow social media pages. Like I had to put work into that, you know,
Yeah.
to grow our media page. And
Yep.
it's experimenting being a content creator, but I never know two craps about posting on
Yeah, I'm
Instagram.
still trying to figure it out. It's not easy.
I have such a different experiments with content, and you can see it, sprinkled throughout. I try to
Yeah.
do messages, try to make funny videos, whatever it may be, because hey, you as a content creator got to figure out your own niche. Yeah? You got
Yeah.
to figure out
Yeah.
your own activity and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been
I
fun.
like it.
It's still a learning process for me, man.
Yeah. Well, we've been going for an hour, and I wanted to ask you, like, when you're growing up, who were the boxers that you looked up to? Who was you a fans of? Like, what boxers were you a fan of? Because I grew up watching boxing, so I get mine's on. I wanted to hear yours on.
Oh, yeah, I've studied Mike Tyson hours on end,
Yeah.
I've studied hours on end, and it's not so much how they knock out an opponent, it's what happens right before it, How do they set the trap? What combination or what type of shots do they throw to allow them to be successful in landing that shot.
Yeah.
So Pacquiao's, Tyson, then as of more recent Canelo,
Oh yeah.
Bivol, I pay attention to a lot of
Mm.
Russian, style. I really like footwork,
Yeah.
um, Lomachenko,
Yeah.
that was mainly Tyson. I
Yeah.
was a brawler actually, like I wanted for bang, so I was the one like, hey, you can hit me a couple times, but if I hit you one good one, you know, but
See,
then
I was the opposite of that. I was trying not forget hit and look pretty at the after party.
that,
I don't
yeah, but
know.
it progressed. It progressed because you get hit enough times, you go like, oh shit, I don't like to hit anymore,
Yo.
But when I started to learn movement, I started to learn all of that timing.
Yo.
So
I like,
yeah,
yo,
the whole studying of overtime and trying to apply what you learn. So I love it. I'm super passionate about boxing. I can
yeah,
have hours long conversations about this kind of thing.
yeah.
Yeah, you.
Man, I grew up, I used to love watching Felix Trinidad. He
Oh, I
was one of
haven't.
my favorites. Him, I liked I like Tyson. Yeah, I like Tyson. I liked his animalistic way of fighting. And
Mm,
he wasn't a tall heavyweight. So it made
no.
me, because I'm short, so I always like the smaller guy licking the bigger guy. And then
Yeah.
I was a huge fan. You probably don't like this guy, but I'm gonna say it. I was a huge
Mayweather.
Prince Nassim fan.
It's not team,
That was
yeah.
my guy, bro. He
Yeah.
was
He
the
meant
man.
too, man. You know what I mean? I saw all the
He
wars, Herrera and
yo,
Eric Morales,
yo,
like,
he would
yeah,
fight guys, no, like no fundamentals, bro. Hands down, throwing from his ankles, and he would just murk kids, bro. He was badass, but his I
yeah.
don't know. I just really like Prince Nassim, bro. He was just out there. His son's fighting now, by the way. I just
Oh,
seen
yeah,
that.
yeah. I watched
Yeah,
clips, like, but
yeah. Oh, he got
yeah.
huge, bro. Have you seen him
I know he
recently,
really, he
bruh?
really, I think he was probably pounding the extra scoop mac salad, you know
Oh,
what I
Gary. He could fight heavyweight, bro. He's like 5'3". Yo, that was my guy. I like De La Hoya at one point before he got weird.
Oh, yeah, for
Yeah,
real,
he was
huh?
bad.
The
I
layout
like
was bad.
yeah, back I like the old school boxing when it had Tuesday night fights on USA and like
Oh,
those
yeah,
yeah,
bro.
back in the day. But the new generation, I like Triple G. Well, he's not that new, but Triple
No, Triple
G, yeah,
C. Such a
he's
like a bulldog, man. You know what I
yeah, he was someone I liked. Lomachenko. The boxing, the younger kids now, they're just it's like you said, it's all about the showmanship and
mean?
the yeah, like Ryan Garcia, like he was just at Mai Tais, like I don't know. He was on something. It wasn't alcohol. He
Gotta
was,
be.
but yeah, the old school boxers was
Yeah, because
fun.
we
And
cut
then
from that cloth. Like,
yeah,
hey, you like 30 and above, you know that warrior
yeah,
mindset. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, yeah. Nowadays the
wasn't
new about this, it's about
yeah,
the money,
and looking
man.
good for the camera. Back then, we didn't have
Yeah.
cameras. You'd get lickings in the
Oh,
gym. Yeah.
I wish I had so much footage, but I don't, from
Oh,
our
oh yeah. Oh, bro, it would be like the amount of times I got freaking dirty lickings at practice. I wouldn't want them to film that. Yeah. But yeah, that's the new generation now. I see it's all about the show and all that. It takes away a little bit from the roots. There are some guys that are out there with good roots and old school mentality. Like Canelo, I think is one of them. I
yeah,
like the way he is. Yeah. I think I don't know. These young kids is nuts, bro. Like Tank Davis and
yeah.
Shakur Stevenson. They're
Uh,
yeah.
it
I kind of
is
like
tank, bro.
yeah. I
Yeah.
kind of like the oh, what's the guy who beat Lomachenko?
Oh, Teofimo.
Tiafimo, yeah, Lopez. He's
Yeah,
kind of
Teofimo.
cocky and arrogant, but the way he boxes and the way he moves,
Oh,
I like his
smooth,
patience.
smooth,
Yeah,
smooth.
and when he fought Lomachenko the last round, because Lomachenko he usually takes a few rounds and then he progressively gets better. But for him
Mm,
to beat Lomachenko in the last round, I was like, oh, bro, this kid
impressive,
is
huh?
pretty badass. Yeah, that was that guy. I'm a fan of that guy. Yeah. I think Bud Crawford is cool.
Oh,
Yeah,
Bud is, yeah, that's one I
yeah,
forgot to mention. Bud, that one is dangerous, man.
yeah. I think he gonna fight. He was on Ariel Hawani show saying that he wants to fight Canelo for his
Ooh, that,
legacy, but that's gonna be a
I'm
money fight
surprised
though.
if
Yeah,
Canelo accept that fight, like, because Bud is coming up, you know what I
yeah,
mean? And
yeah,
Canelo's on the way out, right?
yeah,
Like, so we'll see. That'll be a great chess
yeah,
match right here, man.
yeah.
You know,
That would be a fun one. I
Bivol,
think
how he beat Canelo, that was kind of crazy. You
which
know what I
one?
mean? When Bivol,
Oh
Dimitri,
yeah, 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 yeah,
Canelo couldn't figure him out too,
yeah,
and it's very like surprising. Like, oh wow, shit, Canelo is running through everybody this time, or he
yeah.
does run through everybody.
I think yeah, and he's the epitome of a Mexican fighter. Like he has that
That roughness.
tenacity. Yeah, like you said, like Morales and like Barrera, like all those guys back in the day. Yeah, they
They're
just
willing to
go.
put themselves in danger too. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
you
that
gonna hit
love
me three
that.
times. I land one good and like Chavez. Yeah, back in
Oh,
the day.
yeah.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
are fun times at boxing when oh that
I think it
Barrera
was
Morales,
more
the
fun
first
for the
one.
fans, you know. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Mickey Ward,
Oh yeah,
Gotti.
Mickey
Yeah,
Gotti. Oh, Gotti
great
was
guys
nuts,
at
bro.
that time. But
He wouldn't
nowadays,
even
you
he
get
wouldn't
like
even
20.
start the fight till he get cut, bro. He'd get cut first jab.
Those are like warriors, like
Yeah,
before, hey, I don't care, anybody, anytime, anywhere.
yeah,
Nowadays, it's, oh, but how much money you gonna pay me?
yeah,
It's
exactly.
understandable because it's a business too, and they're
Yeah,
risking their lives, but I miss those times, where it's
yeah.
like the best of the best banging with each other.
Yeah, that's why I wish Pacquiao fought Mayweather earlier.
Oh
Not they
yeah.
waited so long. That would I think it would have been went differently. And it's
Oh
just
yeah. I agree too. But
when they
Mayweather's
both
smart
was at
too,
their
you know
prime.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's
He ain't
badass
trying
too.
to he ain't trying to fight the dude when he's prime lion,
Yeah, yeah. That's why he fought the kind when he's coming up at Canelo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was on top yet, you know what I
yeah.
mean?
It's smart. Yeah, he was the same way, bro. It was like now he's just making all those stupid exhibitions and getting paid. But I
Yeah.
guess
Hey,
it
if
is
you
what
can
it
make
is.
money with less risk, hey, why not?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
and
Fight tuna
it's like
cans. Yeah.
that's not boxing, Even Jake Paul, I respect
Oh,
what he's doing and stuff like that. But for younger ones who think he's a real boxer, like
brah, it's driving me
Jake Paul would
nuts.
get pieced up in amateur circuits. You know what I'm saying?
Brah.
Like,
I really thought Mike Perry was going to take him, but I didn't realize how bigger he was until they
yeah,
was
he was
fighting.
so huge, bro. I saw that.
Yeah,
Like, hey, it's hard, dude. Like to move one guy 20, 30 pounds heavier, and let
yeah.
alone 5, 10 pounds. You know what I
I don't
mean?
know how that was even sanctioned, bro.
I don't think it was like an exhibition. I think how it was saying.
Oh, I
There's
see.
no way it was a real fight because he's way too big. They wouldn't allow that.
Yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I can't. I'm every time I watch that stupid shit just to hopefully he gets knocked out. I thought Anderson was going to clean his clock, but Anderson lost to him. I was like,
Like, fuck,
bro, who's gonna beat
keeps
this
on not
guy?
happening.
Yeah, I'm
It's
thinking about it. This guy's paying them all off or something. I don't know. Well,
yeah.
we've been going for a while, bro. Where can people find you on social media and where could people buy your bags?
Yeah, so our Instagram handle is Manawai Punching Bag. So if you search up Manawai Punching Bag, you'll find us. It's not under Manawai Boxing. So once you click on that, you're gonna see a link to our website too in our bio.
Okay.
You can order bags on there or send me a message directly. That would work too.
All right, on. And
Yeah.
for us, you can always find us at Above the Bridge Podcast on Instagram, YouTube. Our website is atbpod.com, and my Instagram is Thaddy Daddy High. Well,
Nice.
brother, I appreciate you for taking time out of your day and coming on. I really, like I said, I get inspired by certain people, and always those people I'll reach out to, and hopefully they'll reciprocate and come on. So I wanted to talk to you, bro, and I'm super stoked I got this opportunity, and I think I'm gonna be watching you and your kids in the future and see how far you take this. Last thing, what future goals do you have for your gym?
Take my son to nationals. That's the next
Yeah,
goal. Yeah, he gonna go nationals next year.
nice.
Hopefully he wins a national title and that's the next goal. So and even all my other kids too, progressing them to be able to compete in the mainland.
All right, on.
Yeah.
Well, um, sky's the limit. I think you're teaching your passion with a um positive enforced thoughts and actions. So I think only positive things are gonna happen. I think you're doing it with a clean heart, and bruh, your community is thriving better because you're there helping these kids out. And like you said, you getting these kids off the street, teaching them to let their aggression out. And I half of the time, like punk kids, if they get punched in the face and learn how to fight, they become super humble and learn
Yeah.
how to gain respect. And I mean, I was one of them, bro. When I went into the gym the first time, I had long hair, thought I was a badass until some high school Korean kid kicked me in the face and changed my mentality.
Mm.
Yeah, but I appreciate what you're doing, and you're leading by example, not just for your students but for the community and anybody watching your Instagram, bro.
I appreciate that, brother. And I appreciate the time you taking to come on and have me on your stuff. I really appreciate that,
Right
man.
on.
You can come out here anytime, bro.
Yeah, bro. I'll come swing by Evo. Yeah, I'll come check you out. That would be cool just to come look at your gym and stuff like that. Watch the kids train.
Hey, bro, when you do come, I'll tell about a time, man.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
With his dreads, I see him start punching a bag. He's probably on
Yes.
hammer too. Right on,
Yeah.
bro. Will shock us for the cameras. Right on. We're out. Shout out to the Artist Group Network. Aloha.
All right.